Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel and to the Ultimate Racing League. This is our Sunday Championship, and this is the League 3. We're in the Suzuki Swift, and this week we're at Deep Forest Raceway in Switzerland, a fictional track, 2.6 miles, 18 turns. Depends where you look, actually. I've seen some tracks where they track guides and they give you 15 turns, so they managed to lose some, and I think it's turns 15, 16 and 17 they don't count. We are going to count them, so it's 18 turns. Anyway, enough of that. It is race 2. You can see somebody has switched the lights out and it's gone a bit dark. So this is going to be interesting. It is a kind of reverse grid as well. Now I will try and explain it, and we'll probably get halfway through and I'll give up. But the first 8 go to the back and reverse, and the next 8 go or move up into their place. So P8, P9 becomes pole, P10 becomes 2, P and so on. Anyway, enough of trying to explain it. Give myself a headache. Let's just get some racing, shall we? We're going to go down the grid anyway and have a look and see who is where. So if I can get stop pressing the wrong buttons. You're not going to see a lot. All you can see is headlights, but we're going to go down the grid anyway. So DB is in pole position. Molepiece is second. Third is Phaser. Fourth on the grid is Dizzy Rip. Enzo Jack is fifth. Wayne G 6th. Pete is 7th. Thingamajig is 8th. Aussie Rooster 9th. Scott is 10th. Frowny is 11th. Bazza is 12th, and Harry Poppins, winner of race 1, finds himself now down all the way in P13. So he's got a lot of traffic ahead of him if he wants to win this race. So DB is going to get us underway. So let's get that klaxon sounded as they come up to the start-finish line. There we have the klaxon. You can see the lights. Lights are out, and away we go. Well, the starting lights are out. All the other lights are on the cars. Now, I'm not too sure about this track at night, whether it's very well lit or not. It doesn't look like it is, to be fair, which is going to make it very interesting, especially through the tunnels. But DB just leads us around turn 1. Everybody just dropping in behind him, lining up nicely, get the tyres warmed up. We don't need any heroics in the first couple of turns. Bit of smoke being kicked up there. I don't know if it's dust or smoke. And very tight thingamajig, getting a little bit of a bumper kiss from Aussie Rooster. We are all still facing the right way though, so it's all good so far. As we come around turns 8 and 9, down towards turn 10, it does look very dark out there. We'll jump on board with one of the drivers in a minute, and we'll see just how dark it really is. Harry Poppins still down there in 13th, but 16 laps ahead, so plenty of time for him to catch up, and I'm sure he'll be keen to get through this pack. Now, racing hard tyres and mediums have to be used, so there's going to be a pit stop in this race. I don't think there is a pit window. I'm not sure. We shall see. Let's just have a look. Obviously, somebody facing the wrong direction then, but no. I don't know what I saw. It wasn't that though. So back up to our leader then, DB, taking everybody across the line to complete lap 1. Molepiece in second with Dizzy Rip putting a challenge in third. Dizzy Rip fancies his chances on the inside. He gets alongside Molepiece, as we've seen in race 1 though. Turn 1 is very forgiving. Ooh, a bit of a kiss there. Bit of a door bashing session between Dizzy Rip and Molepiece, but as I was saying, turn 1 is quite forgiving, so you can go around the outside at turn 1. There is plenty of grip there. So Dizzy Rip in second with Molepiece now in third. Those two have settled down after that early exchange of paint. Wayne G up to fourth with Scott just behind him in fifth. Scott had a fantastic race 1, didn't he, with his partner Bazza and Frowny. So Scott into fifth now. Aussie Rooster in 6th, Enzo Jack in 7th. But let's jump on board, shall we, with Enzo Jack. We'll see how dark it is out there for these guys. Although he is tucked right underneath Aussie Rooster, having a good old sniff of that rear end of that split is Enzo Jack. Heading down towards turn 14, hard on the brakes to get this left-hand hairpin completed. Enzo Jack, I thought he was going to look for the cut back there, but just played it safe. And if we have a look behind us, all you can see is some dots of headlines. So a little bit of a gap opening up then between Enzo Jack and Pete. Wayne G is in the pits already. He's had enough of the hard tyres, done his 2 laps. But we can see just how dark it is out there. I think in Switzerland they don't actually have street lamps around these tracks, or the designers forgot to put them in. Aussie Rooster getting that turn 1 a little bit wrong there. I think he just went a bit too deep, couldn't get the car slowed down, it looked like to me. He's managed to survive though and stay in P5. Enzo Jack just Enzo Jack getting that wrong as well. That was turn 4 and 5. You don't want to do that too often. That has really slowed him down. That's allowed his teammate Harry Poppins to get alongside him. Harry Poppins has made his way from 13th now up to 7th and soon to be 6th, because I'm pretty sure that Enzo Jack is going to move over and let Harry Poppins through. If he doesn't, when he serves his penalty, he'll have to move over. And it looks like Pete as well has got a penalty. Yeah, 1 second. Wow. 1 second penalty for Pete then. Will that allow Frowny to go through? It should do. Frowny should have the momentum as soon as Pete serves that penalty. There we go. Yeah, Frowny just goes sailing by. Bazza may even make it through as well. And I think he has. So Pete now drops down to P10. With Bazza going into 9th, Pete 10, then Wayne G down in 11th. What's happened to Wayne G? Well, oh, it was a pit stop, wasn't it? Of course it was. Of course it was. Wayne G has pitted and gone on to the medium tyres, and I've just noticed a couple of other guys in the pits as well, Malpiece and Enzo Jack. They decided enough is enough on these hard tyres, and they've come into the pits. Now that might not be the best of decisions to pit that early. We will see. We'll keep an eye on Wayne G. But obviously the air temperature's a lot cooler. The track is going to be a lot cooler. And well, we all know how hard the hard tyres are to drive on. So maybe they should have just stayed out a little bit longer. I don't know. We shall see. Tyre wear on the mediums might be a bit too much. I'm not too sure. Change of lead. Scott has now taken over P1 with Dizzy Rip just behind him in P2 with DB in 3. Harry Poppins is actually flying now. He's up to 4th. He's on the medium tyres, so he's going to go as far as he can in this race on those mediums. And he's really making them work for him at the minute, isn't he? We're only on lap 4 of 16, and Harry Poppins has come all the way from 13th now into P3 as they go 3 wide into turn 14. Harry Poppins going to go all the way around the outside of Aussie Rooster. Has he got it done? I think he might just take it. It was just showing that Aussie Rooster was in 3rd, but I think Harry Poppins... There we go, it sorted itself out. Yeah, Harry Poppins is in 3rd, although Aussie is fighting him all the way, and they are side by side as they come across the start-finish line. Aussie Rooster has got the inside line as they go into turn 1, but as we have seen on so many of occasions, that really doesn't make that much difference at turn 1. It is quite forgiving, and there is plenty of grip out there as Harry Poppins is proving to go all the way around the outside as for Aussie Rooster, and Harry Poppins gets that move done. Into P3 goes Harry Poppins, and he has secured that spot. Aussie Rooster just sitting behind him now in 4th with Frowny, who's just been watching all of that unfold. He is in 5th. Let's just have a look at the tyres. Scott with a half-second penalty out in front on the mediums. Dizzy Rip, Harry Poppins, Aussie Rooster, Frowny all on the medium tyres as Frowny and Aussie Rooster go side by side as they go through turn 10. Frowny just managing to get the move done and completed, and moves up into 4th. So the top 5 are all on the mediums. Wayne G also on the mediums now. Remember, he's made a stop, so he's used his hard tyres. All the guys in front of him have got to stop. And that is why there is such a big gap between Aussie Rooster and Wayne G. You can see that Aussie Rooster and the guys in front of him have just gone around turn 14, the hairpin, and Wayne G is just coming up to it now, but the top 5 haven't pitted yet, so we'll keep an eye on that. Enzo Jack in 7th, he's on the mediums. Molepiece, mediums. Pete, DB, Bazza, Thingamajig and Phaser all now on the medium tyres. We're back up to our race leader Scott, opening up a bit of a gap now. It's not a massive gap, but it is a gap. So he has got a bit of breathing space, and well, he really is abusing these track limits, isn't he, Scott? You want to be careful, mate. You'll get yourself some penalties, and that is just going to allow Hairy Poppins to catch up. So Scott, he is desperate to get away from Hairy Poppins, isn't he? Hairy Poppins being chased down by a Dizzy Rip, although he's got to look in his rear view mirror because he's got Frowny all over him. Let's go on board with Dizzy Rip. Headlights on full beam. It's wonder the guys can't actually see what's going on. Frowny just tucked in there in 4th as they come into the tunnel. Well, at least that's well lit. Is Frowny can have a look. He's having a bit of a look up the inside, isn't he? And this might just be a case of late braking as Frowny, oh, I thought he was going to go for it, but no. There though, isn't he? Somewhere, there he is. We can just see the headlights as he tucks himself right underneath Dizzy Rip. He is all over, really putting the pressure on. Is he going to have another look now as we come across the start-finish line down towards turn 1? I think he is. Frowny's got himself on the inside, and Dizzy Rip giving him plenty of room, but oh, he got a cutback done. Fantastic move. Let's just come and have a look at that again. Frowny just couldn't get that car slowed down enough, so Dizzy Rip did the cutback. Had to go on the grass a little bit, so he will have a bit of dirt on the tyres, but has managed to hold on to P3 after that move. Frowny, well, he's just going to have to bide his time, isn't he? He may be thinking he wants to get by Dizzy Rip so he can try and catch up to the back of Hairy Poppins, because the guys in front are starting to get away. So Frowny fighting Dizzy Rip again. Aussie Rooster, well, he's just sitting there watching all of this in front. He's quite happy to let Dizzy and Frowny fight it out. They are going to wear their tyres out a lot quicker than he is. He's getting a free tow. And obviously he's sitting there ready to pick up any pieces when these two do have a bit of a come in together. All he's got to do is just sit there with them as they go side by side again. So it is Frowny and Dizzy Rip down towards turn 14, fighting it out for P3 again. Dizzy Rip on the inside, Frowny in 3rd currently, but yeah, the inside line just giving Dizzy Rip the advantage, although Frowny round the outside has managed to get himself back into P3 and retain that position. So great racing again from these guys. A lot of respect being given, a lot of space being given. And Frowny now decides he's going to defend this corner, and it's Dizzy Rip's turn to go all the way around the outside. We'll just stick with these guys just for another couple of corners as Frowny fights to keep hold of that podium spot that he's in for now. Fantastic battle between these guys. Remember, the guys have got to pit and get onto the hard tyres, so let's just have a look. I think the closest be Wayne G. Wayne G did pit and get rid of the hard tyres very early on onto the mediums. Now he is going to be the one that is going to try and get as close as he can. He's going to be taking positions away from the 5 guys in front. Now we can't see how far in seconds Wayne G is to Aussie Rooster, so we have to have a guess. And I don't know, probably about a good 15-20 seconds. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one, so let's just we'll keep an eye on that one. Scott's still out in front. Tyres don't look too bad, to be fair, as we're halfway through this race now. So Scott's still leading, Harry Poppins in second. It does look like Harry Poppins is gaining. Brownie with the fastest lap, 1:34.5, but let's just have a look. Scott is he's about, well, his last lap was a 35.3. Harry Poppins was a 34.6. So Harry Poppins is definitely quicker than Scott at the minute. Maybe Scott is just being a little bit cautious. Brownie, as we've said, with the fastest lap so far, a 34.5. Dizzy Rip, he's last couple of laps have been in the 36s, so he's definitely dropped off the pace. Then we've got Aussie in fifth, then we've got that big gap then back to Wayne G. So it's these five guys that are looking at the podium at the minute. As Aussie Rooster has another look at Dizzy Rip, tries to get on the inside as we head down towards turn 14 again, side by side. Oh no, Aussie has just got himself in front, but let's have a look, see what Dizzy's going to do. Is he going to pull to the inside, or is he going to try for the cutback? I think Dizzy's just settled. I think he may have been looking at the cutback there, but I think Aussie Rooster was just a bit too quick around that turn, so Dizzy Rip's just going to have to try and tuck underneath Aussie's car. He's not. He lost a bit of time there actually. So Dizzy Rip, I don't think he's going to get close enough to make a move on Aussie Rooster down at turn 1. I'm just waiting for some of the guys in front to start coming into the pits. Pete down there in 7. But I mean, we've got Wayne G in 6, but he really is on his own, and he's not seen another car for a while, has he? Poor old Wayne G. Pete in 7. We've got Bazza in 8th and Enzo Jack 9th. Thingamajig's in there as well in 10th. Let's just have a look and see how the wobbly wheels are doing. Well, they're still going a little bit. Not his fault, obviously. It's an internet issue. It could even be the lobby itself. But Thingamajig's suffering at the minute with the lag. Molepiece in 11th with Phaser 12th and DB down in 13th. Well, Harry Poppins, he really has made some ground on Scott. I think Scott has just been a little bit cautious, trying to look after his tyres and maybe doing a bit of fuel saving as well, I'm not sure, but he's definitely allowed Harry Poppins to catch up with him. So who's going to pull the trigger first then on the pit stop for these the guys out at the front? You could just see Frowny coming over the brow of the hill there. So Frowny currently sitting in 3rd, Aussie Rooster in 4th. Coffee's all gone, so I'm back on the juice. And I think I'm right in saying that none of these guys have made their stop yet. Or did I just miss it? But I'm pretty sure they've not. I know Wayne G pitted very early. And, well, Wayne G, he is catching up to Dizzy Rip. There was quite a big gap at one point. Now, whether Dizzy Rip has had a bit of an issue and something's happened to him, I don't know. But Wayne G has definitely made ground on him. So when the pit stops do start happening for the guys in well, the top 4 positions, 5 positions, it's going to be interesting to see how close Wayne G can get. So Wayne G now, he will be looking at the back of Dizzy Rip's car. There we go, we can just see the rear light, so that'll give him some encouragement. He's not seen another car for a good few laps as Wayne G, so just seeing the back of Dizzy Rip's car is going to give him some encouragement and spur him on. Who's that got penalty? That's Pete just serving a penalty, and quite a cluster of cars now as Pete gets totally swamped. We've got Bazza, he's just taken over as P7. Pete is in 8th. Then we've got Enzo Jack, we've got Mole Piece, we've got Thingamajig. So quite a cluster of cars all battling away for 8, 9 and 10. Let's just have a look who's leading this little pack. It is Bazza. So Bazza is leading this little pack. What we've got, 1, 2, 3, about 5 cars now. Heading down towards turn 1. Pete's still sitting in 8. Enzo Jack and Mole Piece fighting it out for P9. Thingamajig's in there as well. We are on lap 12 of 16, so 5 laps to go. So still plenty of time. Remember, some of the guys have still got to make a pit stop. Mediums and hard tyres to be used. Fazer down in 13th. So DB and Fazer not really got going here in Switzerland. They are having a little bit of a battle between themselves at the back here, but never really made any kind of headway in either of these two races. But that's how it goes. Not everybody enjoys every track. I'm sure both Fazer and DB will be back fighting strong and challenging up at the front in one of the other races. Incidentally, next week, week 3 is going to be a tough one. It is Interlagos. Personally, I think one of the most technical tracks on the calendar. A lot of twists and turns at that track there in Brazil. But that's next week. But this week, we are still in Switzerland and we are still concentrating on this race, and it's Harry Poppins has managed to catch up and overtake Scott. So Harry Poppins now takes over the lead of this race, so we missed that, so apologies for that. But Harry Poppins having a fantastic race, starting at the back and now all the way up to P1 and looking to get away from Scott. Scott will just want to sit with him, but remember, I think both of these guys have got to make a pit stop. But Harry Poppins, he'll be pleased. He's got that move done and moved up into P1 before they make the stop. Let's have a look. We are now coming up to start lap 14, unless the guys come in. No, they've gone past the pit entry. So across the line then to start lap 14. 3 laps to go, and you can see Aussie Rooster. He's decided to come in now and go onto the hard tyres. So the first of the top 5 is Aussie Rooster to come into the pits. Wayne G goes through to P5. And Wayne G has got Dizzy Rip just up ahead and in his sights as they go into turn 1. He's very slow. He seemed very slow on the entry into turn 1. Dizzy Slip. Let's have a look at his tyres. Maybe his tyres are giving up. Well, they don't look too bad, do they? Although looking at them and racing on them is 2 different things, so he may be struggling a little bit. But Wayne G, well, he's been looking after his tyres, hasn't he? He pitted very early. He pitted at the end of lap 2. You have to do a minimum of 2 laps, and Wayne G got rid of those hards after 2 laps, and he has looked after his tyres. So it's going to be an interesting last few laps for these guys. Wayne G is just waiting for the guys in front of him, because I don't think any of the 4 in front have actually pitted yet. So Harry Poppins leads from Scott. Harry Poppins and Scott both into the pits. I think Scott's just decided to follow Harry Poppins through. Frowny, now is he going to pull in? Yes, he is. So Frowny comes in. And of course they've got to pit this lap because you've got to do a minimum of 2 laps, haven't you? So Wayne G and Dizzy Rip around turn 14. Dizzy Rip's going to have to come into the pits as well. Now that leaves Wayne G. So Wayne G now moves up into 4th. He's going down across the start-finish line. Harry Poppins and Scott, are they out? It does look like they are. So yes, Harry Poppins and Scott both exit the pit lane just ahead of Wayne G. But Wayne G is now moved up into P3. He is on the slightly worn mediums, whereas Harry Poppins and Scott have got 2 laps on fresh hards, so they've got to get them up to temperature, which is going to take quite a few corners. So how close can Wayne G get? He senses he's on the podium, and he thinks, I'm sure he's thinking he can get better than P3. May even be thinking about a win. How close can he get to the 2 guys in front? As I say, he is on worn mediums, but the 2 guys in front are on fresh, cold, hard tyres. It's going to be a great run-in on the last lap. Harry Poppins and Scott fighting it out for the win. Now, if those 2 really do get into a battle, that might play into Wayne G's hands. All 3 around turn 14, and foot planted on the noisy pedal now, all the way through this section of the track across the start finish line. You can just see Wayne G in the background there. As we start lap 16, Scott pulls to the inside. He's going to have a look at taking P1 away from Harry Poppins. Harry Poppins going all the way around the outside. And it looks like Scott has got the move done, although Harry Poppins has fought back. These 2 just swapping and changing P1. Wayne G will be loving this, hoping that they have a bit of a bump. Fuel lights come on for Harry Poppins. It's not really going to matter. Same with Scott. Wayne G, that fuel light will be on in a minute, but as I say, it is not going to matter. They have got enough to make it to the end of the race. We're just going to stick with these now till the end, I think, because Scott and Harry Poppins are fighting it out for the win, with Wayne G just getting closer and closer with every turn as we come around turn 14 for the last time here in Switzerland. It is Scott from Harry Poppins at the minute. They go into the first bridge tunnel, into the second tunnel. It is still Scott leading from Harry Poppins. Harry Poppins is going to have a look as he's in that slipstream now. He keeps having a bit of a look. He keeps pulling out, doesn't he? Letting Scott know he's there. Around turn 14, that was the final turn. Wayne G is tucked right underneath Harry Poppins as well. It is going to be a race to the finish, and at the minute Scott is in front with Harry Poppins in second, Wayne G in third, and I think this is where it's going to finish. It is a flash of the lights from all of them. They know Scott, fantastic win for him. Harry Poppins in second, Wayne G is in third. Great race from Wayne G. Frowny is going to cross the line in fourth, with Aussie Rooster in fifth, Bazza sixth, Pete is seventh. Molepiece, he will cross the line just ahead of Enzo Jack. What a finish for those 2. Dizzy Rip in 10th, Phaser 11th. DB, he will finish in 12th, with Thingamajig coming in 13th. Maybe ran out of fuel. I think DB has definitely run out of fuel. Well, Thingamajig's not, but he's just waiting just behind DB. So DB across the line eventually, with Thingamajig coming in 13th. Hope you've enjoyed those races. Please join me next week. As I say, we're going to be at Interlagos, Sao Paulo, Brazil. That should prove to be a good one with these little swift cars. I shall catch you all then. Be safe.